Hello, everyone. I'm Gökhan Selikar, and unfortunately, I'm feeling a little bit sick today. So, thanks, Emre will take over for the session. I just wanted to come and say hello. I'll be resting for the rest of the workshop. Emre, are you here?
Yes, Gökhan. Thank you very much for taking this time to say hi to us, team. Like as you know, when we get sickness, it's not something we can time it. Like when we talked about the session time, Gökhan was healthy, but this morning he informed me that he has a sore throat. It will be very hard for him to speak. So we also considered pushing the session to tomorrow, and there was no guarantee that he was going to feel better tomorrow, and it was going to be very short notice for our attendees like you. Therefore, we decided to actually take the session and do our best. And he recommended, Emre, why don't you invite some of the winners from last year? We are going to talk about how to win the hackathon. And last year's winners, they have done it already. So we can go over some important points together. I am going to share my experience as well. As the founder and CEO of A2SV, I have been also involved in project development efforts, which are about to yield to real products to support African people by utilizing digital technologies. Many of them are also utilizing AI, especially generative AI, to provide better service. Therefore, I can share my experiences, and our winners are going to be here with us. They are going to add to the conversation. So this way, we can actually have a fun and informative session together. So that's our plan B, and we are about to put plan B in place. But I believe now everybody is guessing where is Behimnet, our hackathon coordinator. We get used to hearing his voice in the beginning of these sessions. Therefore, Behimnet, I will leave the stage to you.
All right. Thank you, Emma. So yeah, in this session, guys, we're going to mostly see how the hackathon works. Like just know the hackathon dynamics of A2SV hackathon, and we're going to share you some important tips that you guys can use in order to excel in this hackathon. So in each of these points, like you also get to hear from the last year's hackathon winners some of their experience, what they have done, and what made them like unique than other teams in order to win the last year's hackathon. So yeah, definitely, I really hope this session is going to be helpful as the previous workshops, and is directly related to as it's directly related to the hackathon. You'll definitely get something that you will use for the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and even the grand finale. So yeah, I'd like to remind everyone to just pay attention. If you guys have any question or doubts, raise your hand and ask. Let's try to be interactive on this session. Yeah, so that's my thoughts. I don't want to take any more time. So, Emre, yeah, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Behimnet. And do we have our winners joining the session? Maybe we can start with their introduction. Like last year winners who have first made their path into the top 8, and they deserved the all expense paid trip to Ethiopia. So they came to Addis Ababa. They have been our visitors for about a week, and they have seen Ethiopian culture, our people, A2SV's core dev and education teams. They have attended our post hackathon trip to Lake Wanchi. So we had great times together. Yes, who do we have at the moment? Behimnet.
Yes, so we have Gada, Christian, and Brooke Mesfit with us.
Perfect. Shall we get started with you, Gada? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can, Emery. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you well. So, Gada, while I am preparing things in the background, could you please kick us off with how was the journey last year? Like what happened? Maybe you can take it from the beginning because now everybody's focused on, especially quarterfinals, right? Which is about to start in a few days. And then take us through the different stages of A2SV Hackathon 2023.
Okay, thank you, Emre. So I was from the team Cognipath, and we won the first place in the A2SV Hackathon. Well, the whole experience was pretty educating, if I can say. It was like many people from many cultures. We discovered even new ways and new technologies other teams used. So, since you're all participating, maybe I can give you some advices or some tips how to get to the finals. So, I'd like to say focus on the impact of the idea. It's really important. And you have really to be convinced with the project you're presenting. Because if you're not convinced with something, you can't convince anyone else of it. So you have to love your project, your idea, and believe in its potential. And when you work hard, you will for sure get to the finals. There are no exceptions. But like really, we have a lot of problems in Africa, and you can see it as opportunity for you to dig deep in these problems and try to solve them with AI. And I really wish you good luck. Ethiopia is a very nice place. People from A2SV, they are nice, creative, they inspire you, they help you. It was nice, and I'm still studying in the A2SV remote program now. Ethiopian are really good people. They're hardworking, they are serious. I'd like to finish the whole program with them, and good luck, everyone. It's really great that you participated.
Thank you very much, Gada. So
Thank
we have a
you.
question in the chat window. How was the travel, the air travel to Ethiopia? Like Abdulaziz is asking from Uganda to Ethiopia, but Gada didn't come from Uganda.
I'm not from Uganda, I'm from Tunisia.
So Gada,
Well,
how was the travel from Tunisia to Ethiopia then?
okay, from Tunisia we went to Italy and then Ethiopia, so it was a bit long going to Europe then going back to Africa. But it was nice traveling with your group and all. It's nice souvenirs and experience. You can pick a book to read it along in the long flight if your country is far and enjoy it.
Thank you, Gada. I think we have a question from Frederick as well. Yes, Frederick.
Okay, the question is how challenging was it to complete your project? Um, okay, they are asking basically for a prototype. Okay, Frederick, you want to speak? Go ahead. I
Gada, maybe you can get Reona's question now because we don't hear Frederick at the moment. Maybe Frederick, you can also type the question to the chat window. Gada, feel free to go ahead answering Reona's question.
Okay. So, how challenging was to complete? So, as I said, we tried to make the prototype as close as to the real life project. We focused on the functionalities. It was a bit challenging, to be honest. The time is not so like it's not so long, but it's part of the hackathon. It's part of competing. Can you do the job in a specific timeline? To be honest, we just did the list of priorities. Like we started with functionalities, then UI UX design, and you can see there are some prices about other things. So you can focus on these specific things and list your priorities depending on your project and your idea.
Excuse me, can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Therefore, I decided to ask you this question because you are among the people that came out on the top. You have mentioned earlier that what you need to stand out above all the others is the impact of your idea, right?
Yeah, right.
Therefore, my question is, to win this hackathon, did you actually deliver the minimum viable product itself, or did you implement the entire idea in its entirety? Because one of the ideas that I actually brainstormed, it requires kind of a bit of time to do your research, to write down your methodologies and the technologies that you are going to use, the time that is required to collect the data. It requires quite a bit of time. But you see, this is a competition, and you have just a finite amount of time that you have been granted. Therefore, to rephrase my question, do you actually deliver the entire product, or do you just deliver the barest minimum? Yeah, thank you for that opportunity.
Okay, Frederick, thank you for your question. So for us, we tried, okay, to be honest, we didn't make our own models because it would take a lot of times. So I think using pre-trained model would be more efficient. So you can show your perspective, what you want to deliver, like the idea, and not the bare minimum. You have to show that it's a good idea and it is working. Like the impact has to be there. For example, we did a site that helped the children with autism to study and to learn. And we did try it with some autistic children before going to Ethiopia. So either you see something, you can do it in a short period of time, or like, as I said, use pre-trained models and try to focus on the main functionalities first and at least finish these main functionalities. But as you said, I'm a student too, and I'm not sure I'm giving the perfect advice, but I'm talking about my own experience, and I hope that was helpful.
Okay, thank you for that opportunity. And for the record, I'm from Kenya. It's just a few miles south of the border. So yeah, we are really good neighbors with our people. Hope to see you when you get there.
Thank you very much, team. Are there any other questions for Gada? Or shall we get started with our conversation? Beimnet, you mentioned Biruk is also with us. Biruk Mesfin, can we also hear from your perspective, how did the hackathon experience go for you? All right, we are having difficult time hearing Biruk. In that case, Aya, would you like to take the stage next as one of the Cognicat members?
Hello, hi, Sir Emery. How are
Hi,
you?
Aya. Doing pretty well, thank you. It's nice to hear from you. How about
Thank
you?
you.
How is everything?
I'm good, thank you. Everything is good.
So, Aya, as you see now, we are in the workshop about how to win the hackathon. Maybe you've heard part of the conversation with Gada.
Yeah.
It would be really nice to hear your experience as well. How was the whole process from beginning to the end? And can you share us some of the secrets to win the hackathon?
Yeah, of course. So from the beginning, it was like the hardest part for me was choosing the idea. You know, how can we have the most impact on Africa and like the most positive impact and change something really. So we started like globally with education, and we didn't know that we are gonna work on like autistic people. But after we did like research and stuff, we found out that it's a huge problem that we need to fix. And after, with our mentor Wubshet, who helped us like immensely throughout the process, he would give us like advice, and we listened to what he was saying, and it was like really helpful. After choosing the idea and going through and going through we started with the technical implementation, and yeah, and after we found ourselves in Ethiopia with 7 other teams, and thanks God that we won. If anyone has any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Hello, I do have a question if you can hear me.
Yes, Mustafa, sorry, I cannot hear you very well.
Okay, just give me a moment. You hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me first start by saying thank you for you, thank for all the team who's responsible for this hackathon. I just want to know like the process before going to the finals. Did we need to work on our project before going to the finals, or just a prototype or something like that? I just want to know like the process before going to the finals.
Yeah, to go through to the finals, you do need like a prototype. Like we did a website, for example, with many functionalities, and yeah, it was almost finalized. And the week in Ethiopia, we worked on mostly the pitch deck. There were like other mentors that helped us to finalize it and to make it like better.
I mean, the prototype is only with like tool like Figma, or you need like Scrum, Agile, and all the management, and you need like reports and something like that, or just a basic prototype.
For us, we did like a full website with and it wasn't only like a prototype on Figma or something like that. And I think it's the same for the other teams. I think you cannot like go through the finals if you don't have something tangible, you know?
Yeah, because my team has always participated in several hackathon here in Morocco. Uh, like we don't do this prototype, like going to the hackathon, spend 3 days of coding and those stuff, and presenting your project, and then all this. So as you say, we need like a a good prototype that can describe our project very well.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
And when we finish that, what we need to do, like send you the website or the API or something like that, what we need to do after finishing that.
A video demo of your website or mobile app or whatever it is, and like yes, the if you hosted the website, you're gonna send the link of that, and the pitch. Like you need the presentation, presenting like your idea, and yeah.
So like we don't need like to train our model and to deploy the model into our website and make all this stuff. We need like just a simple prototype, shoot
If
a video, and send it to you.
if you can train a model and deploy it, yes, you if you can do that, that's excellent. That's great. But if you cannot do that
Because
and you just want to work with APIs, that can work too.
okay, because we like our idea need like a lot of time. So okay, so we're gonna work. I'm gonna discuss with my team. So we're gonna work on prototype like this, inshallah.
Yeah. Good luck.
Oh, thank you so much. And after that, we give you the video, and you decide who can go to the finals.
Yeah, but everything will be explained like clearly. Like we didn't have trouble with these details. You know, anything, any deliverable, anything like they will be sent each week or 2 weeks, like a Word document that you're gonna fill up with like each team member what he did, the details of what you added this week. So everything is clear. Like you don't need to worry about these details.
Okay, yeah, I mean, we need a report with the project. We need the prototype and a report.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. And after that, You give us the invitation, and we can move to Ethiopia.
Yes, hopefully.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
I
much.
think I know what didn't Mustafa get. So like basically, in order to go to the final, you need to pass a lot of phases. Like for each
Yeah.
phase, you have a deliverable, and
Yeah,
for
the
each deliverable,
quarterfinals,
yeah.
the yeah.
So you don't need to make the prototype and everything like in one shot in one time. Like
No, no.
it will be an iterable prototype. Each time you
Exactly.
add something and you send a deliverable, they will send you a document and you will fill it for
Yeah,
each phase and for each type.
Okay,
exactly.
you're gonna make like the whole project into step. You send us like each sprints what we should to do and give us like a deadline, and we send you and process just like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Your mentor like will help you immensely. You'll have a mentor that will guide you through this process, and each time he will be responsible of these like sheets that he will send you, the documents and stuff that you have to fill.
Oh, okay, that
Um,
sounds great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
thank you,
Hi.
Mustafa. The questions are coming. Yes, Olubashina, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. My question is, the idea basically, can't it be a workaround of hardware and software? Must it be just software alone? Because there is an idea within the team and it's more focused on embedding AI into a hardware. So how do we go about this? Do we have to do the software part? Since I heard now that she said we need a prototype and the report. So can we just do the software part, then later on maybe the hardware? Because the team are not in the same location, so we can only collaborate virtually.
Okay, Oluwashina, I think your question wasn't really clear. You weren't that audible, but I just want to say one remark for everyone. We have the second winning team, Yanni AI. They already started their project in real life and they had clients. And that was really a strong point they had that the other teams didn't. So you guys don't have just to focus on doing a simple prototype. Try to show that you're actually wanting to do a startup with your project. And the best way to show that is by actually starting, having clients and real life. But Oshulina, I guess I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing the name wrong, but you weren't that audible. So can you like type the question or say it again?
And the idea is more of embedding artificial intelligence into hardware. So not just software alone, just like or a mobile app. So how do we go about this? The team are from different places and we are not on at the same location at the time. But we need to collaborate. Can just one of us work on the hardware while the rest of us work on the software and later integrate this together when we meet? I believe
Okay. I understand your question now. Okay, to be honest, me and my team, we were in the same college. We were all in Tunisia and we worked through Meet, like Google Meet. So you don't have to be physically close to the other team members to work on that. And dividing tasks like software, da. It can be possible too. So it all depends on the team. But like, don't worry, it won't affect the work if you all agree on ideas and all.
all right, thank you.
And next, let's continue with Abol.
Hello. Thank you for the opportunity. I'd love to ask a few things like, oh, you guys, you created your idea, which was very nice, and congratulations for that. And I just have one question. Was there an issue with the programming language that you used? Because I've noticed on the platform they've been really emphasizing on JavaScript and Python, but some of us are Ruby developers, and with the little Ruby development I have, I've managed to understand how to work with a model, which is now, how do you say this, open AI models. So I've been able to connect it to the app so I can easily develop around it. Will that be an issue, or should I have to find a way of integrating the LLM models using Python and JavaScript, which is a language that I'm not that familiar with? And I also wanted to know, after you started your idea and you went through the whole process, how has it been? Now I think it's a year later. Have you moved around it? Have you improved on how it's going, or it's still at the initial prototype stage, at the hackathon stage? How did you move from the hackathon stage to the market? Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Abol. Thank you for your questions. To answer the first question, no, you don't need to be like an expert in Python or Java to work on this, because we as well, we are like students. We are we were like last year third year AI engineering students. So we were learning everything, like it was new for us. So YouTube is your friend here. So you can learn anything. Like if you even have like C++ or any like basic knowledge, you can learn anything, and you can like easily integrate your LLM model. Yeah, that will not be an issue. And for the other question, a year later, we have talked with investors. Like there's one investor who is really interested in our project, and we're gonna make it into a 3D model. So now it's like so yeah, we have made some progress, and inshallah it will be a startup.
Awesome. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much, Abol. And next, we can continue with Kate.
I believe it's me. How are you?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So I just wanted to find out about, because I heard that probably it's best to test every phase to see maybe the viability of your idea. So I just wanted to know, how did you get around the issue of, for example, funding for example, if you need to roll it out and maybe it's a community thing, you might need maybe some sort of critical number, or let's say 20 or 30. How did you manage to make sure that you then get input from them and also get the results? Were there costs involved? And if they were, how did you manage to go around that hurdle? Because I feel like maybe a lot of teams might come across this. So would like to maybe get wisdom or from your experience and how you went around maybe the testing phase. Because I see like a lot of teams have multiple phases. I've been going through the other teams' projects, and yeah, so I just wanted to know that.
Yeah, so our project is on autistic kids, and my cousin personally is autistic. So we started testing with him, and later on we went like to the center that he was in, and we tested the solution with other kids, and mostly the feedback was positive. Of course, at first it missed a lot of things that we fixed, like they don't like so much bright colors and stuff, and the teachers really gave us some helpful advice. So we kept on developing the solution according to their advice. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, because I also wanted to know about the logistics too. Because did you have to get special permission? All those things, and so some of these things also, like when it comes to probably the testing phase. Let's say you're working with rural farmers, you have to travel to the site and all of that, and all of those things. So how did you get around that Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we just got permission from the teacher of my cousin, and they told us we can come. And that's it. It was like very easy for us, to be honest, because it's someone that it's my relative's teacher. So maybe it won't be that easy for you, but I think you can test your solution, like even online with people online. You don't have to do it like on physical sites.
Yeah, and I'd like to add, yeah, too, we tried the app, we showed it to our friends and families, and we took like feedback. You don't really have to do the actual testing with 5,000 users. You can take a small feedback and start with it. And then in later phases, probably you can do the bigger testing.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
All right, next, let's continue with Ismail. Ismail, can you hear us? Okay, maybe Ismail is having some communication problem. We can continue with Forever. And Ismail, feel free to write your question to the chat window.
Once again, good day, everyone. What about those? What about those of us that is our group are not filled up yet? What do we do?
Can you please repeat forever?
Can you speak clear? Come again? Like,
Can you repeat your question, please?
like, what about those of us whose group are not filled up yet? Because me, I only meet 3 of my members.
Can you please type your question? I think I have
Okay,
mic
okay.
issues. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you, Forever. And next, we can continue with Enoch Samson. Enoch?
Okay. Hello, guys. My question is my team members did not register in the individual registration because like when I register in the hackathon, I registered as a team. So I register all individuals team members email and with LinkedIn and the other requirements information. So after that, at the end of the individual registration deadline, we did not see the email. I think the A2SV members send the two email for every individual's my team members, but we did not see that those emails. So what's happened for us? Like, is that a problem? Because we submit the projects and we register at at the initial time in the deadline. So is it a problem? My team members did not register as an individual.
Yeah, hello. So, it's not a problem. If you are a team, actually, you don't have to register individually. So, as long as you have registered your team members during the team registration and you have submitted your idea, you're good. So, wait to hear from us if you have made it for the quarterfinal or not.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Enoch and Beymet. And next, we are with Henry Gossu. Henry?
Good evening. I hope you are well. I would just like to ask if during the hack we should develop the solution in a correct manner, or we just have to present the prototype.
Henry, could you please repeat your question? Bayminet is listening now. I think
Okay. Good evening. I hope you are well. I would just like if to ask. I would just like to ask if during the act we should develop the solution in a correct manner, or we just have to present a prototype.
Yes, all right. So for the quarterfinals, if you made it to the quarterfinal, the main deliverables are going to be like some prototype of your project to see that like to develop at least the MVP of the idea that you have submitted. And if you make it to the semifinal, then you'll get a longer period of time in which you can work on your project to make it a real product.
Thank you, Bayminet. All right, next we have Alexis.
Um, Good afternoon. I want to know what are the requirements do a project need to qualify for the quarterfinals?
What, Alex? Could you please ask it again?
I said, what are the requirements do a project need to qualify for the quarterfinals?
Mm-hmm. So in our quarterfinal selection, Bayminet, what kind of criteria
Yes.
do we use?
So for the idea selection, we had an entire workshop in which we explained how the ideas are evaluated. So someone here can send you that link to know like the grading details in which we are going to use to select the projects that are going to be part of the quarterfinals.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Bayminet. Next, Sanyi Riba. Sanyi. Sanyi, do you hear us? Okay, if not, we can continue with Ata.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me clearly. So, my question is not a technical question, it's more of a legibility question. And I want to know if um, I registered as a leader of a group and we have a distinct project, but also I am a member, I'm a sub member of another group with another distinct project. So, is that okay?
Okay, are you saying that you are part of two groups now?
Yeah, I'm a member. I'm a member of one group and a leader of another group.
Yeah, so I think in that case you should really just choose one group and commit to that. You have to be like member of just one.
And this actually reminded me a great saying, a great quote from Confucius. If you chase two rabbits, you end up getting none. Don't forget this, team. All right. Senyi, like we can try again. I think Ata already asked his question. Or Ata, did I get it wrong? Oh, Senyi, we hear you now. Yes. Please go ahead.
Sorry about that. Hi everyone. So I have only two questions. Okay, the first question is, when I received the confirmation that we have registered by team to A2SV Hackathon, I received my name twice, Sanyiderva twice. So what is the problem?
So it doesn't sound like there is a problem, Senyi. It is a message from our organization team that you need to act like two people productivity for this hackathon. Your team relies on you. You need to put together a great performance and impress people, as if there are two Senyis.
Okay, so that's because that I am the team leader.
Maybe, or it's just a honest mistake. It's very unlikely that there would be another Senyi Diriba in the same team, right? Did you register another person with the same name?
No.
Yes.
So my second question is, when will be the 128 winners will be announced?
It's a very good question, Bayemnet. The excitement.
Yes, so we are almost done with the great aggregation of your ideas. So most probably we'll announce the 128 teams tomorrow, and the quarterfinals will start on Friday.
Okay, thank you.
All right, forever. Let's try again if you have a question.
My question is that can we do this project without JavaScript or neither Python? That's my question.
So our competition is a programming language agnostic, meaning you can use whichever tool, whichever programming language, whichever technology you want. Indeed, we don't want to put any boundaries for innovation. Like if you look at it, the only boundary we put is utilizing AI. Like last year, we even actually made it more specific and said generative AI, which is a subset of AI, right? And this year, it's even more generic. So as long as your project has an application of AI in it, and it's providing value for African people in one way or the other, you are in the game, and you are free to choose whichever technologies you believe are the best. This depends on your experience, right? If you're not experienced in another programming language, it would be hard to pick it up. But in essence, there is not even a requirement to know a programming language, because at the end of the day, there are some no-code platforms, and generative AI is super powerful. Even people with no coding information today can produce a functional website, and sometimes even mobile apps. For that reason, team, definitely, like if you have any hesitations on, oh, can we do this? Can we do that? Most probably the answer is yes. And if we want to see your creativity, we want to see what you can build in short amount of time to show us the potential in your project. Because the objective of quarterfinals is pushing as much as we can in a little over 2 days, these brilliant ideas with great teams and mentors, and then showing in the end that there is potential here. Hey, let's invest in more. Let's also assign an advisor with industry experience. Let's bring together industry experts, have panels, and more than 2 months, about 9 weeks, let's push those 32 very high potential projects to the top 8, come to the grand finale and show to the public, show to investors, show to distinguished jury members what African youth can do when they get the support, when they get the environment to flourish ideas, to provide helpful technologies for African people. Thank you. Forever, do you have another question? All right. We can hear you.
I don't have question for now. I'm good.
Okay, thank you. All right, next, Frank.
Hello, good afternoon. So I want to ask for how many teams are going for the quarterfinal. You said you are going to select 140. So for how many teams are going to the semi-final, and also on the me and my team, we are already building our AI, like our large language model, and we have been building it for the past 2 years. So it's like the project of the company is the one like we pitched. I want to ask if we are not like restricted like to pitch like something that like we have pitched before on other platforms. So that is my questions. Like currently we are trying to raise equity for our idea. So that's why we are participating in many hackathons as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. So there are two questions I hear here. Let's get started with the first one. Number of participants for the different stages of the hackathon. So Tim, if you actually noticed, these numbers are perfect powers of 2, right? 128 is 2 to the power of 7. So we start with 128 teams this year. Last year, we actually had 165 projects. And what we have realized, in order to provide the best experience for the teams, it's very important to limit number of projects we assign for each mentor, so that each team is going to get the support that they deserve during this stage. Therefore, this year we decreased the total number of teams in the quarterfinals to 128. So these teams all are going to get assigned a coordinator and mentor. The mentor has industry experience, a few years, if not more, in many cases a lot more, experience in either programming or related fields. So they do something related with tech. And that person is going to guide you. They will help you to refine your idea. They will help you to prioritize different things that you can do. They will help you to utilize different productivity tools for communication, for task tracking, for remote collaboration. And for that reason, like to give the best experience, this year we limited the number to 128, which is 2 to the power of 7. So when we switch to the semifinals, 7 goes down to 5, and 2 to the power of 5, 32 teams are going to proceed to the semifinals at the end of this quarterfinal. So from 7, we are going to go down to 5 in terms of 2's power. And when it comes to the grand finale, at the end of, I would say maybe 9 weeks, 2 to the power of 5 is going to go down to 2 to the power of 3. And we are going to choose 8 best of the best projects. There is definitely no disrespect to other participants and other projects. Like we believe A2SV Hackathon is not just contributing to the finalists or to the winners of the hackathon. Like there is no loser in this race, because we all are going to learn from each other. Like frankly speaking, I even started learning when I hear interesting ideas from idea filtration, and when people share their experiences. This already started helping me. Or the previous workshops, like the generative AI related workshop, like how to write effective prompts, how to use models in Hugging Face. It was really, really nice. Or the workshop about the presentation, how to prepare pitch deck. Like I wasn't actually aware for all the components that are needed in a complete pitch deck. So if I look at the overall experience, even before the competition starts, we are learning a lot, and we will continue doing this. So remember, you're not alone in this journey. Take help from people, your teammates. Here we are going to all learn from each other. And when we get to next question, Frank, whether you can utilize what you have built previously in this competition, well, I would say you can use the models that you have developed before. However, ecosystem, we also want to create a fair environment for all the participants. Then a lot of people and teams that are starting from scratch for their building, allowing you to ride on 2 years of hard work wouldn't be fair, as you can see. But you can use your model. Like, for example, some teams are going to build projects that are utilizing OpenAI APIs for ChatGPT, Google's APIs for Gemini, etc. So definitely feel free to utilize what you have built so far. However, your contribution for this stage, for this hackathon, should be novel, and it should be starting anew, so that it's going to be a fair competition.
Oh, okay, thank you. So my last question is for the first phase, like we were using like the pitch to do the screening. And I want to ask what like the criteria you will be using for the quarterfinal and the semi-final. What are you expecting like on the quarterfinal? Your expectations?
So the judging criteria is something that we are actually going to cover in the presentation. So I would love to leave this question to our discussion. Like after we finish taking all the questions, then we will continue with the presentation, and you'll get the answer by the end of the presentation, Frank. How does that sound?
Oh, all right. That's okay. Thank you.
You are very welcome. All right, next, let's continue with Alexis.
I want to know how will the quarterfinal be like in terms of presentation of projects.
Alexis,
Yeah,
can you?
I said, are you
Yes.
getting me?
Yes, now we can
I
hear you.
said, okay, I want to know how will the quarterfinals be like in terms of presentation of projects.
So basically, the presentations are going to take place close to the end of the quarterfinals. But for the whole flow of BAMNet, would you like to potentially inform our attendees? Like, what's the quarterfinal program? Like after what's going to happen?
All right. So for the quarterfinals, it's going to last for 3 days, and we're going to accept some deliverables in these 3 days. So in the first day, so in each of the 3 days, we'll have what we call them checkpoints to know what you have done and what you will be doing in the future. So for the first day, you guys will tell us your plan and the features that you are going to execute in the hackathon. That's going to be your first checkpoint. And on the second point, you'll tell us the progress that you have done previously, and also what's the plan for the last day. And on the last checkpoints, it will include deliverables like pitch deck, your demo video, you pitching, and also the GitHub repository. So we'll collect the GitHub repositories at the start of the hackathon, but some kind of prototype, like if it is a web, a link for the web that you have developed. If it is an app, maybe an APK file, this kind of related things. We're going to accept at the last. But for that, we'll include these details and acceptance email that you are going to receive if you made it to the quarterfinals.
Okay, so are you guys going to guide us through every checkpoint?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Will you guys guide us through every checkpoint?
Yes, yes. So there will be a mentor that will be assigned to you, and you will get some session with them. They will explain the checkpoints, and also we have a session on every day at like the end of the day, where we will explain what is going to be expected from you in the next day and give you some briefing about the next checkpoints.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next, Frank Makeba. Frank, we don't hear you. Okay, maybe we can continue with Muhigin.
My question, all my questions have been answered.
Okay, thank you, Frank. In that case, let's continue with Muhigiri. All right. Then
hello, am I audible?
Yes,
I'm sorry. Instead of unmuting myself, I put the hands down. Sorry for that. Am I audible?
Yes.
Oh, great. So actually, a part of my question have been answered by BMNet. The other one is I heard him mentioning that if we develop, for example, a web application, they will check the link. It means it has to be deployed somehow. So I'd like to know, is there some like kind of cloud resources that you provide to the like for us who are competing, so we can utilize them, for example, to deploy our solutions. Apart from that, we have to build with AI. Most of them, most like preferably generative AI. So, is there some resources which are allocated for us who are competing, so we can use them while building our solutions? Yeah, that's my question.
Yes, so we won't be providing any cloud resources or deployment resources, but there are definitely options that you can utilize freely. For example, for web development, you can use Vercel. They provide a free version in which you can deploy your website. So you can try out this kind. Yes, and there are also some other platforms that are being mentioned on the chat box. So you can utilize those.
All right, thank you very much.
All right. So before going to the other questions, one of the winner is was part of the winning team is with us, Christian. So Christian, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening.
Yes, we can hear you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Could you share us your hackathon experience for our new participants?
Yes, present myself. I'm Christian Ebot. I'm a Cameroonian studying in Tunisia. I was part of the team Cognipat that won the first place of the hackathon last year. I would describe the A2SV experience as a school. It's just like a school. You have many things to learn. Because I had, since I came in the midst, I had people asking many questions about if they're supposed to be expert about the domain before going into the hackathon. That's not it, because during the hackathon, you're going to be guided. So you need to start with the idea and your motivation to bring to life your idea. And then during the hackathon, you're going to have the opportunity to learn and to put into practice, like it's a practical learning. It take into consideration what you need to be capable of bringing into life your idea. For example, when we started with the team, not everyone was already used to what is generative AI. And during the journey, we had to push all the team to learn about what is generative AI and try to implement that and see we discover other things that we didn't know about generative AI. Even the framework we used for the development wasn't a framework we used to use. Like we used a framework Flask that we learned during the competition. Apart from that, as I said, I just consider the experience as a school. You learn about how to sell the idea, how to work in group if you didn't get that experience before. Also the checkpoints and the discipline you have to achieve the project at the end. You have the mentor that also guided us, Upshed, and all the other teams of A2SV. It was really a learning experience. Apart from the adrenaline of being in a hackathon, it's also a learning experience all through.
Thank you very much, Christian. We can continue with the questions. And Henry Gosser.
I would like to know if we already have mentor that we can contact. Also, I want to know if we have or we found two same idea or more two same idea. How do you do?
Henry, I don't think I got the second question. The first one is, as soon as we announced finalists, they are going to be assigned a mentor. Sorry, quarter finalists. So if you are one of the 128 projects that will be competing in the quarterfinals, yes, you will be assigned a mentor. But prior to that, we don't do the assignments. Simply, we don't have that many mentors. And could you please repeat the second question? Because I couldn't hear it.
Okay, thank you. I want to know also if we have two same idea, how do you do to choose the best idea among both of them?
So the better, like at this stage, when we are choosing quarter finalists, the better presentation of the idea and stronger team wins. Because like right now, we cannot simply see any execution, right? Because we learn about the idea and we see the teammates. So we make our selections based on that. At this stage, there is no limitation on the categories. Like we don't have codes like, hey, there will be 10 AI for healthcare projects. No, we may have 30, we may have 5 in the last 128. There are no subcategories. Therefore, if there are even the two ideas that are presented really well, the same ideas by two different teams, they can take their place in the quarterfinals. So we don't have a limitation until that stage. And after quarterfinals, I would say the best execution is going to win. And again, like we had some similar ideas coming to the even finals last year. So it's not about whether your idea is only chosen by you, but it's all about how you guys are executing it. If we see great execution, and if based on our criteria, your project is listed in one of the top spots, then you proceed to the next stage.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, next, Fuat Tesfaye. Fuat?
Okay, thanks for this opportunity. The first thing I want to say is this is my first hackathon, and I really don't want to miss this opportunity. Maybe if I didn't get a good grade to win, can I, can I start it again in the next year? Can I try again next year, or
Definitely.
when this hackathon
So,
is held
like,
again?
this hackathon is annual team, and hopefully, as long as we are around, A2SV hackathon is going to be around. Personally, I am not even dreaming of retiring at some point. You know, but hopefully, if I can stay healthy, I would love to work till the end of my life. Therefore, as long as we are around, you will have the future, let's say, series of A2SV hackathon. And Fuad, if you are going to be a continuing student next year, again, our competition is going to be open for all African high school and university students. You will be eligible to compete. And definitely do not get discouraged. There are some other, let's say, participants who have more experience. We had many people who come to our grand finale who made to this stage, even got, rewards. And this was their first hackathon. So just because it's first doesn't mean that you don't have a chance. Do your best, utilize what is provided, your mentors, your advisors, your coordinators, and technology. Like we are all connected to internet. This is powerful, guys. Like every time I learn something new from ChatGPT, like generative AI models, like I really feel very lucky because just a century ago, the kings of that time didn't have easy access to information like we do. You know, maybe sometimes they had some curiosity, they had some questions arising in their minds. They didn't have a chance to ask to ChatGPT, Gemini. So definitely, I feel very lucky and privileged that these tools are available for the public. Like even in Africa, guys, we have access to this. Like when we talk to our ancestors, like if we go to, for example, early 90s, at that time, maybe your parents were at your state, right? And they didn't have access to internet. Early 90s, so many people in Africa didn't have access to computers, cell phones. So at that time, it wasn't even possible for our previous generation to compete in such kind of environment. So we are lucky. That's why we can do bigger impact than our elder generation, because now it's a fair playground for Africans as well. Yes, maybe our internet connection is not the best. Sometimes we have to ask each other, hey, can you hear me? Are you there? But still, there is a lot that we can do with.
And we are currently working on 4 team members. So shall we start the project right now, or should we wait until the quarterfinals are decided?
So my recommendation would be like continue refining your idea. Do not start execution, but like you can continue baking your idea. You know, consider what the products are out there in the world, and you know, like get more inspiration. However, I wouldn't recommend starting execution now to make it a fair competition. Our quarterfinal kickoff is going to take place, to my knowledge, 11 a.m. East Africa time on Friday. Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Team, can you take over for the next couple of questions? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You are very welcome, Fuad. And next, we can continue with Lemmy.
Hello. I'm Richmond from Liberia. I want to ask a few questions concerning the hackathon.
Yes, I think that he is going to take a break, a little break. He comes soon.
All right, team. So, by the way, just to give you a bit of a background information, so now I have a visitor here who is an entrepreneur and technologist, indeed having a great product in Ethiopia, Chip Social. Like, as you know, I wasn't supposed to be the host for this event. Therefore, we had this event scheduled maybe a while ago. Like, we have seen each other last in London more than a month ago. And that's why now things are conflicting. But the more the merrier. So since you are a technologist and we have plenty of emerging technologists from Africa who are getting ready for the quarterfinals of A2SV Hackathon, AI for Impact 2024. Could you please introduce yourself to us?
Yes, of course. Hi, guys. Hi, everybody. I'm Matteo. And yeah, I've been creating businesses before and I've been exiting. And so now I created a business because I think the biggest opportunities currently are actually in Africa. And so now we have created a great business. And of course, to a great business, as you know, belongs a great app, which is called Chip. I'm very proud of my team that has been creating this incredible app. And so basically, I don't know if this is how it shows. I'll just show it like this real quick. I'm not going to go into details.
Okay.
It's just basically, this is the app and you can see two prices. And so what you can do, you can group buy and get wholesale discounts if you group buy with your friends. If you guys want to know more about us, check out Chip. But also, if you want to understand more about the concept, check out Pinduoduo in China. Those guys have gotten it into perfection, this whole concept, and we are trying to replicate this in Africa. And yeah, I think most talent, most opportunities, all of that is all in Africa right now.
Thank you very much for your kind words. And we are actually looking at that potential from all over the continent. Many brilliant young minds that are here to do something meaningful for Africa. Very cool. All right, so maybe like for the first 15 minutes, shall we go over the presentation and we can share our experience?
You sure? Do whatever you need to do.
All righty. Team, because the questions are never ending, we will definitely have more time after this one, but I would love to walk you over the presentation we have for the hackathon dynamics, like how to get the best out of this hackathon and how can we unlock synergies for the success. So now let's understand the hackathon dynamics. Like it's very important to make an effective collaboration team because this is a technology competition. And I would love to remind, this is a team game. So it's very unlikely that one-person team is going to be successful. Because in today's world, in order to make a successful product, we need to bring people from different disciplines. So Matteo, in your organization right now, what kind of roles do you have to build this app?
To build the app, we have, I guess, the usual team, but I think collaboration is the most important part, because so how we usually use structure businesses as in marketing, development, operations is different people, different sub departments. But how we did it, because of the collaboration aspect, we have our teams structured around the different modules we have. So we have, for example, a vendor app, we have a customer app, and we have of course the backend, and we have a logistics app. And we're structuring for each of those. They have their development team, they have their marketing team, they have so because you need very specific know-how, but also you need this collaboration. So marketeers should not always just talk to marketeers, and developers to developers, right? So then you have the most fruitful outcome. So yeah, this is how we generally go about it.
When they come together and collaborate, the results come.
Exactly.
Very nice.
It's like a brain, right? If you feed a brain with lots of different information from very different aspects, even arts and whatever you can grasp and fill into your brain, the higher the likelihood there's a very creative outcome.
So true. Like human brain is amazing at transfer learning, and like frankly, I learn a lot from football. You know, I'm a huge football fan, and oh my God, a lot of lessons to apply to business. Yes. Second point, team, use technology. Like especially in today's world, generative AI. Like I really feel like if I had a chance to choose between having a direct line to Elon Musk versus having access to generative AI, I would go with generative AI access. Though no disrespect to Elon Musk, he's an amazing guy. At the same time, he's not knowledgeable about everything as much as ChatGPT or Gemini are. Like generative AI know a lot about so many things. And as people, we can have mastery in only a few fields. And for that reason, be aware. We are living in a different time, and definitely utilize technology. And it's not just about just the text interface. Like we can produce presentations with generative AI. Now you can talk to it. Like there are so many applications that you can bring in and provide better experience for people. So number 3, start small. One of the biggest mistakes that I observe in the junior technologists, we want to build the super app from day one. Like there is, let's say, a group of people who are building a tourism app, and they are like, hey, in our app, you can do hotel reservations, you can purchase flight tickets, you can get tickets for the touristic place, and you can choose your guide. Well, you cannot do them all at once. Like remember Amazon. Amazon was selling books at the beginning, right? And even in your product, how many goods did you have at the beginning, like at day 0? Did you start with all the goods?
No, exactly. No, and I think to give a complete picture also where we are right now, because we are fundraising at the moment, which is always annoying, but the worst you can do is go out there and say, hey, we do build a super app, because the immediate response from any investor is, okay, so you don't know anything, because you cannot be a specialist everywhere. So start for sure with one thing, and become a super expert, understand that niche, and then from there you can go broader, but don't start with the everything solution. Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
And again, you don't ever mention it, especially as a seed startup or pre-startup, to an investor. He'll be out of the door the second you said it.
To become a super app, first you need to be an app for something, and then 2, 3, 4, 5 are going to come. Very true. All right, so we mentioned about the importance of teams and what kind of roles and responsibilities can be possible in such kind of environment. So team, like when we look at this picture, definitely a project manager is going to be helpful. So this is the person who is going to kind of take the leadership, because you need to organize things. Like when we bring together 3 to 5 people, those are our team sizes. It's important that different people are going to have different hats. So, and be understanding, like there is going to be also flexibility. Not all the teams are going to have the luxury of, hey, You are the developer, I am the designer, he is the project manager. So you may have to actually put multiple hats depending on circumstances, depending on the skill set that your team has. Therefore, this point, like leveraging strengths, this is very important. Do not complain about, oh, we don't have X, we don't have Y. For those, try to fill in those space with the help of technology. If you're not great at making presentations, utilize generative AI for presentations. If you don't have a good designer, use Midjourney or similar tools where AI can actually help filling the space and utilize the strengths of your teammates. Because every human being, like when we compare any two people, there are some things that you are a lot better than I am, Matteo, and vice versa. So if we actually look at the picture with that perspective and bring our strengths together, we can actually create better results.
Yeah, I agree. I can't add much to it. I think flexibility, because you're a UI UX designer, you're done with your UI UX, help out somewhere else, right? So this is normal, I think, in a startup. So I absolutely agree. Flexibility and leveraging on strengths. I also agree. We have a lot of these discussions internally also, because people fill positions. And sometimes it's not to their strength, even though on paper that's what they are. So always question whether that is really. So for example, there's a project manager, he knows project manage, but maybe he's not a leader, he doesn't have leadership skills. Put a developer there and have the project manager be the organizer, sort of thing, right? So think about the strengths. I agree 100%. And of course, yeah, leveraging technology is for a tech company the key.
Yes. So when it comes to team formation, definitely like have the conversation, who is capable of doing what? Like that's very important. And even when we are doing the team formation for the individuals, as you know, our hackathon is open for individual and team registrations. When we are grouping people together, we try to select the complementary skills. Like rather than putting together 3 backend engineers, or 1 backend engineer, 1 mobile developer, 1, let's say, project manager. So try to do the same thing even within your teams. And it's very important. You should have clear expectations. This is not just about this competition team. I can give you an example from A2SV as well. Whenever we have a very well clearly defined roles, people read it, people understand. When there is an error handling, let's say somebody is underperforming, well, the picture is clear. Hey, brother, sister, these are the expectations, and this is your behavior, and here is the mismatch. How can we fix this? Therefore, from the beginning, set clear expectations for the team as well as for the project. What is going to be included in your quarterfinals prototype and what is not going to be included? Decide this. What are must-haves for your product to work and what are nice-to-haves? So make sure these things are going to be clarified before you start execution. And of course, remember, we are all people. There will be disagreements. There is no way we are going to agree on everything. And for that reason, mutual respect is important. And always remember, you all are there for the success of the team, for the shared vision of making your product successful.
Yeah. Again, I couldn't agree more. Maybe just to highlight the shared vision and mutual respect. You guys are starting a journey here. If you're successful with your idea, creating a company, you will have a lot of interaction with your peers, and you will create a company culture. And so if right now you're not 1000% aligned in your ways of working, in your shared vision, in 2 months you will not be aligned. In half a year you will have fights, and then things will fall apart. So this one I would be super strict on. If you do not feel super aligned about the vision, about mutual respect, and the company culture that you want to eventually create, and I would have these discussions very early on, don't work together. And the rest, yeah, I just 1000% agree with what you said.
All right. So when we take a look at the resource allocation, team, it's very important to understand you cannot finish everything in 2 days. Like great things take time. Therefore, it's very important to utilize the strengths of the individuals, maximize the productivity, and produce high quality work at the end. And to be able to do that, you need to have realistic goals. Like, we are not going to go into details of smart goal setting. Let me just give you the high level of it. The SMART word actually is an abbreviation. So your goal has to be specific. Like if I say, hey, I want to go to gym, which gym, where? There are so many things that are not specific enough about that. So it should be measurable. At the end of the day, you should be able to tell whether your goal is achieved or not. And A is for, I think, smart, measurable, achievable. I don't know. So sorry, guys, I am not 100% clear. If I remember correctly, it was achievable. Achievable, and the next word is realistic. So both are very closely aligned with each other. Your goal has to be realistic. If I set a goal of, hey, I will go to gym 5 days a week and I will be there for 2 hours, and if I didn't go to gym in the last 90 days, this is extremely unlikely that I will be able to achieve. And in the end, this is going to create some disappointment. And the last one, which I believe is the most important one, time bounded. You need to set your goals with some deadlines. When you say, I am going to go to gym at 7:30 p.m. after work today, you are a lot more likely to do that saying, I will go to gym today. When it is specific, when the time is known, it's just magical for human brain that we are a lot more likely to do things. So, and there are tools that you can use for that, like Google Calendar. When did we have our conversation about meeting today? Maybe like you were coming to Ethiopia first. It didn't happen at that time. Maybe like 3 weeks ago, right?
Probably, yeah.
But when it's on our calendar, we don't have to keep that information in our mind. We can just check our calendar. Oh, it's coming, and then organize.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is, to me, is actually super key. It sounds stupid at the beginning. We're sort of brainstorming and being free about it, but once you execute, it's all about time management. Because to me, it's like like a clock, right? Time management only works when one kind of wheel ties into the other one, and that is only possible if 2 people or 5 people are actually really managing their time well. And we're not always super great, but we're very, very aware of it at our company. And to me, whenever I go into a company and I see incredible time management expertise among the team, I've never seen the company not be an amazing company. So yeah, I agree. And it causes for efficiency eventually.
Small or big, guys. For example, when I worked at Google or when I worked at Liftoff, so they are both top tech companies at different stages. Well, in the first 2-3 minutes, you may not see some people. They may join a bit late, But after 2-3 minutes, almost always, 99 point something %, you have the full crew there, giving their focus to the task in hand. And obviously, it makes a big difference. I have also experienced in Africa some students coming to their final exam 47 minutes late and getting surprised that the exam already started. So it makes a difference in productivity. Definitely realize that your time is as valuable as other people's time. Their time is as valuable as your time, because time is even more valuable than gold. Like we cannot just simply pay gold and get back to your ages. The ship is already sailed. So, what kind of common challenges you can face with when you are dealing with diverse skill sets, and how you can overcome of them? So, when we look at building a strong foundation for successful collaboration, I would say the number 1 point is transparency. Team, like this morning, I was supposed to come to the office a lot earlier than I did. Because somehow, like last night, it was very rainy night, and I am living on the top floor. The rain was very heavy. I couldn't sleep well. And my finger is bitten by a cat. So this is also recovering, not in the best state now. And the pain was also keeping me up. And somehow I ended up waking up around 11 a.m. Like, it's horrible, If this happens often, of course, A2SV is not going to go anywhere. But it doesn't happen often. But at that time, there was a meeting on my calendar. I joined the meeting and I explained the situation to the teammates. Because we are people, why am I sharing this experience? If this happens to me, this can happen to you too. We are people. Did you set all the goals? Did you reach all the goals that you have set in your life?
Oh, always. No, I'm kidding. No. I think this is actually a funny one to me, because when I talk, so for us, this is the number one thing in our company: trust, transparency, always. And so it's funny though, because a lot of people, when you talk to them, they say you can trust me, but they don't understand that trust is not you're a nice guy, or you're not a bad person, right? Trust in a business context is, you always start out with an agreement, whether it is, hey, can you do something by tomorrow? When tomorrow? 12 o'clock. Are you sure you can do it? Yes, I can do it. And you actually follow through on this. This brings trust. You do that 10 times, people will trust you because they know you will fulfill things. If you always say, for example, I'll be doing it by tomorrow, 12 o'clock, but you constantly don't do it. You can be the nicest guy and super cool person, but in a business context, you're not building trust. And so I think this one, as well as transparency, always something can go wrong. And be open about it. Don't talk around the bushes. Don't come up with silly excuses. Just be very straight. Because I think if you're a trustworthy person and you're building the trust around you, everybody will be fine with you every once in a while having something that goes against you fulfilling your agreement. So yeah, I couldn't agree more. I love your presentation, by the way. I think I'll just take it one-on-one.
Thanks to Gökhan, by the way,
Okay.
like the original person who was going to give the session. He sent me the content. I utilized AI to make it a presentation. So collaboration, let's say. Yes, and team, like this may not apply in the earlier stages because quarterfinals is only 2 days. But remember, like when you are a team with other people, it's not just about the business that you are doing. Like you dedicate so much time together for the common vision. So building strong relationships, not just within the office, but outside the office. Like sometimes at A2SV, we go to hike. Sometimes we go to an amusement park. So sometimes we go to dinner, when there is an occasion. And it actually reminds all of us that we are people. There are things that are also happening outside of work. And this also increases our connection and productivity in the office as well. So don't see that as a waste of time. Indeed, we maybe gain a lot more for productivity because the ices are breaking.
Yeah, I can't say so we're terrible at that part. So we work long hours and we still chill and we have a beer afterwards and stuff like this. But really, like conscious team building, we're terrible at. So I think I shouldn't really. I hope none of our team will ever see this because we're really bad at this. I think so. What we are very good is we love what we're doing and we're highly motivated and we create passion among each other for what we're doing. But yeah, this part we're bad. So.
It can always be better. Come on, I wouldn't call bad, but there is room for improvement.
It's non-existent.
And next, recognizing team achievements. Team, I would say, like at the individual level and at the team level, I have seen this many times. This is very, very important because we find morale, we find motivation when our great contribution is recognized by other people. And don't think of it as this is for ego. No, this is not for ego. And likewise, I would also recommend calling suboptimal issues as you call the team achievements. Like you should be like a fair referee. The referee should play the game if there is no foul, but they have to whistle the blow if there is a foul. So it's a very similar situation here. Therefore, do not forget to recognize and celebrate team achievements. And at the same time, do not forget to call when you see something that is suboptimal. Because if you're not saying anything, this gives all the subconscious models what you are doing is okay. Because if you were doing something wrong, something was going to go wrong. Somebody was going to say something.
I agree. And if you don't challenge each other, recognition is not valuable, right? If you said, oh, well, I'm not sure, I don't think this is good enough. If somebody then actually comes up with something great and you say, hey, this is great, if you haven't actually challenged each other on the things that were not good, the hey, this was great, doesn't really mean that much. So I think I agree. I think it comes oftentimes in like daily life too short, but recognizing achievements is a huge fuel of motivation for everybody.
So now let's take a look at some effective communication techniques. What things that we can use to improve our communication. So let's get started with the collaboration tool. I want to report an error. I want to report an error. Like I can send whatever is going on to the team as a message. And for different purposes as well, this can be utilized. So it is possible to have personal collaboration as well. Like, for example, Bayimnet and I, since the hackathon is going on, we share a lot of links with each other, opinions with each other. So like this was a list, for example, when we were struggling getting people from Burkina Faso, because we wanted to maximize the participation in the earlier days. I was passing this list to Bayimnet so that we can make reach outs. And these are just examples. So what other collaboration tools we are utilizing? Like I would say our document stack is on Google Cloud. So for example, like all our documents are in Google Drive. When I want to have an access to a document related with Hackathon, I search for Hackathon index file. Because for different projects, we create index file for ease of access. Because Google Drive is a mess. It's not easy to find documents here. Like let's say I need to take a look at the mentor role description. So I come here, I choose the right document, and this is open for collaboration from anywhere. Do I want to share this document with Bayimnet? Done. Now, Bayimnet also has access, and he has been invited to collaborate on this document. And what other collaboration tools? Well, I am not sure if we are going to have another reference for this one, but I have to mention about Google Calendar as well. So I am not the power user here. As you see, my calendar is a mess, and sometimes even I can have overlaps. And Matteo was very kind to join our hackathon session. And team, so why this is very important? If there are so many things that are going on, like at A2SV, our core dev team is building products for Africa. So they are development focused. We have remote education, we have in-person education, we have community education. So all these things are happening. And in the academic education meeting, we get together, we go over the, let's say, agenda of the week. Like I can show you our notes file as well, because when you are making meetings, it's very important to capture actionable items and take effective notes. Like we start our meetings by noting our attendees, covering action items from the last week, going over the agenda items, and defining the action items for the upcoming week. So like this definitely helps us to stay organized when our organization is dealing with so many different aspects at the same time. So I highly recommend using Google Calendar and organizing your life with Google Calendar. So this way you can actually so many balls and still be productive in multiple things. So any other collaboration tools that you are utilizing in your organization, Matthew?
No, actually, so we are very extensively using the whole Google suite of all the products very much. And actually so we always try to use Slack, but we always, because we start out as like buddies just kicking around ideas, and we're here in Ethiopia, we're on Telegram or so it's always hard to then move this all to Slack. So we just gave up on this, and so now we're doing it via Telegram. But yeah, I think Slack is the better collaboration tool, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. And team, I'm not going to go into details for the sake of time. I realize that we don't have much time remaining. So, like when we take a look at some issues about the communication, like from the beginning, establishing clear communication channels is important. So you mentioned that you are using Telegram. Some people may be using Microsoft Teams. Some people may be using Google Meet. So it doesn't matter which tool you are using, but it makes a big difference if you are using one tool versus no tools. So for that reason, don't feel obligated to use Slack or Telegram or WhatsApp, whatever is working for you. However, have that contract with your teammates from the beginning and establish clear communication channels. This is very important. And next, like documenting decisions and progress, this makes very big difference, especially in the long term, but even in the short term to get results, I highly recommend this. Because there will be moments you may feel hopeless. Like I am not waking up every day with amazing motivation, frankly speaking, guys. Anything that's happening to you psychologically, that's happening to me as well, because I'm human. And you are human as well. This is very normal. So when we document these things, in the long term, like when you look back, you can see that, oh, you have been in similar situation before. It's not that today is the day that you are not feeling great, and it's not going to be the last. But this is going to help you to stay focused, understand some reasonings, and continue building on top of what you have achieved before. And team, like also structured communication is important. Like if there are different discussions that are happening in the same communication channel, sometimes things can mix each other, you know. So that's why, like I am not proud the way that we are currently utilizing Slack. At the moment, some discussions that are specific are taking place in our general channel. But I would highly recommend dividing different channels. Like for example, then we have something about Project Akil. Akil has its own channel. If like about for their heads ups, for their daily plans, meeting notes, we have different channels that are utilized. And if it's not about Akil, if it's about Ethiopia, let's say G5 education, then there are different channels dedicated for G5 education. So this definitely helps, especially when things grow. And from early days, if you set strong foundation in this, then your organization can get the best out of available tools. Anything you want to add on this material? So like we already mentioned about these tools, maybe just giving some ideas, like for task tracking, Trello, ClickUp, Linear, such type of tools, Jira, like from Atlassian. What do you guys use?
We use actually Gantt Pro, which is not super known, but because unlike Trello and Jira and stuff like this, it is a very sophisticated resource management tool as well in there, which the other ones don't have to that extent. That's why we're using Gantt Pro. But it also so what I like about those usual suspects like Trello and so on, that or ClickUp is very popular at the moment, right? Jira, of course, that everybody can communicate with everybody and plan with everybody. It's very collaborative. But we are now at a stage where we really have a project manager who drives all the planning, and then Gantt Pro works better for us. But early days, we also use the usual suspects. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And Tim, like just to give you an example, like I wanted to share a board from our core dev projects. Like when we take a look at Akil's board right now, and like I just wanted to show this as an example. So let's take one of the in-progress tasks. Like apparently this one is not filled. Let's take a look at this one. This one is not filled as well. About this one, yes. So, like as you see, there is a summary of the task, there are planned steps, and there is acceptance criteria. So Keyrettin is working on this task, and the due date is tomorrow. When things are disorganized, it makes the goal smart, because by the end of tomorrow, if things are finished, when we look at the acceptance criteria, we should be able to see that this behavior is there. So depending on your state, you don't have to make everything at this detail level, but having the deadline, having the assigned person, and having a clear description that when an engineer reads it, they understand what the task is, this makes a big difference, Steve. When I was a junior, I didn't understand the importance of this, because majority of the things I was doing by myself. And when you don't have to do things in the team environment, this may not be super important. But after I start seeing the picture from the other side, you know, when I started managing teams, I have realized that even if there is a small room for misunderstanding, people can misunderstand. And then there will be disappointment. You will be like, hey, why did you do it this way? I was expecting that. And like lastly, like we already talked about real-time communication tools. Again, it doesn't matter which tool you use, but choose the one that everybody is on and make sure everybody is going to be responsive there. And also like for development, utilizing version control systems like Git and keeping your code in a place like GitHub. This has so many advantages. Like in a distributed environment, I think nobody is gonna say no to that. We don't have to go into details here. So next.
Maybe one thing, just with regards to communication, just a very quick one. So we have a rule, never disagree on chat. From the moment there's a disagreement, and in our case, always try to immediately take it off and go. In your guys, I guess they're remote work collaborations. Yes. So immediately hop onto a call. If you can, the data provides you the possibility. Have a video call always, and also this. Our hierarchy is always first try to discuss face to face. Second possibility, then try to have a video call, and then without video. But and never ever try to resolve a disagreement in a chat. I have never seen it work. Just an
Matteo, I wish you told this to me 10 years ago. Man, you have no idea how many relationships you could have saved for me or some teammates.
Me too. Yeah.
So, Tim, this is a very important one because text doesn't always reflect everything you have. You may not represent your idea, your feelings, your thoughts in the best way. So definitely, like in your case, since you are remote, have a remote call. Like talk to each other rather than trying to handle it on the text, especially when it comes to disagreements. Very important point. And Tim, when we look at some time management strategies, one thing that we learn with life experience, I would say, or industry experience, the importance of prioritization. And the Eisenhower matrix, I believe, is a very good one. It's very simple and very effective, Tim. So I want to show you quickly. So basically, in the Eisenhower matrix, we divide everything into 4 categories based on their importance and urgency. So if something is important and urgent, do it now. These are the most important ones. And if something is important and not urgent, schedule it for the future because it's important, it has to be done. Like, for example, let's say you have to get your teeth checked by a dentist once every 6 months. It's not super urgent. If you don't do it today, you're not gonna die. But if you don't do it in the next 2 years, maybe there will be some problem in your mouth that it will be harder to treat. So it's important. You gotta do it once every 6 months. Therefore, schedule. And if something is urgent but not important, if there is somebody else that can handle this task, please use those people for that task. And lastly, if something is not important and not urgent, do not waste your time. Move on. There are more important, more urgent things that you have to deal with. So this is simple and very effective, guys. Remember, urgent, not urgent, important, not important. Categorize accordingly and take the right action. And there is a Pomodoro technique. Like Pomodoro technique helps you to take some work times and some break times. So I just want to show you this short picture. What you need to complete first, you have to make the list of it, like execution list, like to-do list. And then set the timer. So you can play with this 25 minutes. This actually depends on your attention span. For some people, it can be longer. For some people, it can be shorter. And until your execution time finishes, execute. And after that, take a short break. And then repeat it a few times. Like they say 4, sometimes you may drop it less, maybe after 2, 3 times. After that, take a longer break. Like this works really well for so many people. I highly recommend. Again, you can play with the times here according to your personality. Matteo, do you have any experience? It doesn't have to be Pomodoro technique, but yeah.
No, for me, so this one, it's try really to know yourself as much as you can. I know many that swear on this. I know a lot also, especially, so for example, our CTO, he says, look, it takes me 20 minutes. I need the right music. I need the right, I need a coffee at the beginning and so on and so on. And then I need to get into it. I need to get into the flow. It takes me 20 minutes to really fire from all cylinders. So yeah, for him it wouldn't really work, right? But then he can work 3 hours straight in a very deep state of concentration. So I think, yeah, try to understand how you work best. Experiment with this, and then but be aware. I think this is yeah, be aware of exactly this. I've never heard of the Pomodoro technique, but that makes a lot of sense.
Thank you. And don't forget, team, rest is as important as hard work. Like regarding that, I would like to share one technique that I learned from CTO of Liftoff, Harry. So he helped me to understand that you should look at the tasks from two perspectives, physical and mental drainage. So what's that mean? Some tasks are mentally charging, like sleeping, for example. And some tasks are mentally draining, like, for example, giving this presentation. Some tasks are physically charging. Like, for example, when I'm sitting, like right now we are standing, but assume we were taking this meeting sitting, it's physically charging. And some tasks are physically draining. I love playing football. And after playing 90 minutes in a big field, well, you feel tired. So remember this, if you categorize tasks accordingly and put together the ones, like after a mentally draining task, put a physically draining one instead of mentally draining one. This way, you can keep your mental energy levels and physical energy levels high enough. The hackathon context, guys, if something is going to take more than 2 hours, it's like a project. You need to divide it into smaller parts because you have a little more than 2 days. This is a short time. You got to be very careful with your time management. So set clear milestones. It's very important that another person, when they read it, they should understand the same thing as you do, and track the progress. If you want to get better results in anything you need to track. At A2SV, we track how many problems that our students are solving because it matters. Like we track in our, let's say, project development, how many story points people are collecting. Because of these things, we believe they give very nice motivation, like when you see the progress. And it helps us whether we are hitting our goals or not. Because when we don't set any goals, are we going fast enough? Should we go faster? There is no feedback. Like any experience you have with this, Matteo, the importance of tracking progress.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's everything. So you need to set your targets. You need to. It's hard to set targets, especially. So for us, I'm a bit mixed here because I know that if you guys are going to create something that has never been created this way, exactly. So you don't have a precedent that you can go with, and you can set targets and so on and so on. But I do agree. If you do have an end point, right? And you need, at this end point, you need to have something. And so I think then going back and breaking down by what at what point in time you will need to have done something, because usually you work out the UI UX and for 5 wireframes you typically need each one 20 minutes or something like this. Then okay, I need to have a certain amount of time. So even for 2 days, I think it does make sense to start there. However, yeah, it is very hard because you don't know right now how productive you will be with this completely new idea, whether things go south. But still, I would also highly recommend starting there.
Thank you. Like we already mentioned about that, for the sake of time, we can proceed. Like again, like these are very common concepts that we all know of. Like minimize the distractions team. I see a lot of people in my team, unfortunately, having WhatsApp, Telegram notifications open. Like you may even have seen. Unfortunately, I didn't turn off the WhatsApp notifications off because I was expecting Mateo's call. Like I wasn't sharing my screen. But when these things happen, our attention get divided team. Like you are human. You cannot be focused on 2 things at the same time. Therefore, definitely minimize the distractions, starting from your notifications. If you don't want to turn them off, at least put your phone face down. At least you won't see that they will come. You're not going to miss anything. Yeah. And what else? Like the rest, this is something that you can read and learn, right? Some people practice mindfulness. Like many people say that with stress management, meditation helps a lot. Like adopting some you time in the day, like I highly recommend, and taking breaks. Like these things are very, very important. Like when I feel, let's say, very disappointed, I try not to make immediate decisions at that time. Like rather than that, I just choose to walk away because I know those decisions are not going to bring anything good because they are done under the control of emotions, not my logical brain.
Yeah,
Anything?
I absolutely agree. It's such a small thing that you might think, yeah, okay, but a text message here or there on the side, but so from a brain perspective, your brain needs a certain amount of time to get into what you call the flow state, right? This deep concentration, and you can get it in a conversation with a nice peer. You working something out, you're brainstorming, but you can also get it on your own. From the moment, so there is actually, that's why I mentioned the 20 minutes. There is actually fact. The fact is, if for less than 18 minutes you have been focusing on something, you will not get into a deep concentration state. So you need 18, 20 minutes to even get into a deeper state of concentration. And every time there is a text message, it will take you away. So yeah, so we have also a rule. You're not, unless upfront you said, hey, I'm going to receive a call, you're not allowed to take calls or messages. Or even look at your phone in our company. So that's that's a rule, and I agree with you 100%. I think productivity decreases.
Yes. So now let's get to the part that everybody was curious about. So what is the judging criteria when it comes to evaluating these projects? Team, we have very simple distribution of the points. Your presentation and the way you communicate your presentation is going to take 20% of the whole points. So the innovation that you bring to the table, like what you are bringing, is it something new, something novel, or are there already 10 companies who are out there who are trying to solve the same problem? This is another part of our criteria. And your potential impact. So the impact can be making something good for society. The impact can be the revenue potential, because with more resources, you can make more impact in the future, more social impact. Therefore, we also care about what's going on in that space. And lastly, the remaining 30% goes to technical implementation. So under the technical implementation, we look at three things. So the design, because we know that in 2 days, you cannot finish a complete product. Therefore, design gets 10%. It's very important because great products start with great designs. Next, AI integration. Because this is an AI hackathon team, obviously we are like, that's a requirement. Your idea, one way or the other, has to touch into AI. Why do we do this? Because this is a very transformative technology. And there are many use cases. You don't have to be a machine learning engineer to utilize AI for your solutions. In today's world, there are so many no-code platforms. There are so many generative AI APIs that you can hook together and make solutions for people without writing single line of code. For that reason, AI integration is one of our criteria. And the quality of code. So at the end of the day, team, yes, we understand it's not going to be complete, but we don't want to put everything in the same basket. If there is one team which are doing things in a very tidy manner, very organized manner, we believe there is a more long-term potential in that team over the others. That's why we made this also part of our criteria. And don't forget, nobody claims that this is perfect. Good can always be better. So Matteo, you also have some experience in the industry. Like when you look at this criteria, what do you think?
I honestly, I think here I'm lost. I've never had to judge people in a hackathon, and I've honestly, so I was lucky to get like a cool bunch of guys together, or guys and girls, and then we started working on things and stuff like this. So I think you guys are quite under a lot of stress here that we never had to experience. So I can't really give much input here.
Got you. Thank you, Matteo. And team, in that case, let's take a look at our key takeaways. So, focus on the hackathon goals. Remember, you need to align your work with the judging criteria. And here, the judging criteria is actually trying to measure the best impact you can possibly do, team, with the given resources, not just for the quarterfinals, but beyond. Like basically, you are trying to show that if you are given more resources and time, you are going to build something great for Africa. That's the objective in the quarterfinal. We want to see whether we should invest in, like, you deserve one of those 32 seats for the semifinals, which are going to be given industry experts, advisors, and you will get guided by more experienced people to achieve your goals. So next, develop a lean MVP. So we didn't talk about minimum viable product. Therefore, I want to give the definition here. Focus on only what's needed, team. This is a hackathon. You don't have time forever. Don't try to add the nice to haves from the beginning, okay? Do what's absolutely necessary first. Start small. Maybe at the beginning have an executable with one button, okay? And start building new things on top of that later on. And lastly, leverage tools and AI. Today is the best time to build digital technologies. Yesterday was the best time in comparison to all the other days before. Every day a new AI tool is popping up. Now I just heard yesterday Microsoft developed a new spreadsheet LLM. So it's specialized to deal with the data that's in spreadsheet form. So spreadsheets are, guys, like this one. You have columns, you have rows, and the data is organized. And asking questions like, hey, how many very promising candidates we have? The spreadsheet LLM is going to be capable of, I guess, handling such kind of queries in a nice manner, adding new columns, calculating values, etc. So, and this is just one example. There are so many great tools coming out every day. Yes, key takeaways when we are closing, Matteo? Any points you would love to?
No, I can just say good luck, guys. You might be the next Google for Africa. So yeah, good luck. I hope to see that big success of yours.
Team, thank you very much. I hope this was informative. I hope you learned something today. And Matteo, like, I really want to thank, like, in this situation, you didn't leave us alone and joined and made this more informative and fun than ever. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Bayminet.
Thank you.
All right, Tim. So Bayminet is going to take over. Please feel free to ask your questions and hope to see you in the next A2SV session. Till then, take care. Bayminet, the stage is yours. All right, see you, Tim.
All right. Thank you, Henry. So yeah, let's just go over the question. So let me see the queue.
That's what was that emergency save here of yours? Yes.
Oh, okay. So let's start with Vincent. Vincent, can you hear me?
So yeah, I guess
Hello, Vincent. Can you hear me? Okay. In that case, Ryan.
Yes.
Let's
Hello?
overtake.
Hello,
Yes,
can
Ryan.
you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for the presentation. Thanks for you for assisting us after the presentation. It was very informative and very clear. To be honest, I get a lot of knowledge and a lot of information that are relevant. So my question is about the next few days. What should we submit? For example, are we asked to make the presentation and to pitch it or something like that, or just the selection criteria based on the submission of ideas in the platform that we already filled?
Sorry, Ryan. Could you maybe repeat the last part of your question?
Okay. My question was asking about the selection criteria.
Yes.
And filtering process is based on the submission of ideas in the platform, or we have a pitching to there is no pitching.
Yeah, so in order to be selected for the quarterfinals, the only thing that we are going to consider is the idea that you have submitted. So It will solely based on that. And after you have been selected, you will get the chance to pitch. So the thing is, there are, I think, as of now, over 680 projects, and having a pitching for 680 projects is going to be really difficult. So, in order
That's not
to
clear. Yeah, yeah, I can
yeah,
understand this.
for that reason, we are just going to base our selection to select the 128 teams based on the ideas that we have submitted.
Okay. The second question: if we get selected, how we get informed by mail and when?
Yeah, yeah. So
And when?
you'll get a call and also an email from us tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay. And the last question: if we didn't get in the second phase, are we invited to participate in the A2SV uh, in the Google education program? Yeah.
Yes. So ATSV education is going to be open for everyone. Like the selection here is just the solely for the hackathon. So it's not related with other things. If you want to continue or to start your FSP education, you can follow the. So we have already shared out a form. You can fill that out, and we'll get back to you.
Okay. Okay. Thank
So
you.
the
Thank you.
education and the hackathon are different. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So let's move on to Enoch. Enoch, can you hear us? Maybe you are muted, Enoch. Okay. If that's the case, let's move on to the third person. Takru Dazwa. I'm sorry if I mispronounced her name. Okay. Then Fuad, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hello,
Takru.
sir. I hope you mean me. Okay, so
Yes.
all my questions were answered. So I read my hands a bit earlier ago. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Let's move on to Fuad then.
Okay, thanks. It's me again. I just wanna ask something. If some of us we didn't make it to the grand final, can we come just to see, or to
Of course.
learn, to get skills?
Yeah, definitely. So for the finalists, we're going to have an expo for them to show their project. So if the expo is going to be here in Ethiopia in Addis Ababa, and if there is anyone of you who wants to like come and visit, everyone is welcome.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, the last one is going to be Lemmy.
Okay, thanks for giving me this chance. I would really need to thank you all for this big chance. The question I have is most of our projects presented there would require a big amount of data centers, maybe, or some really big things. So, how can we manage to get these things? Or is it only required to present our prototype for the hackathon program?
Yeah, so like you said, these projects will require big data centers if only they are accessed by, let's say, huge number of users at the moment. But since these projects are going to be developed during the hackathon, most probably you might not have that amount of users for your project. So the need of like having huge conditional data centers might not be needed for this hackathon. So as long as you have something to show us how it works and the way you implemented it, it doesn't have to be public.
So we should only present the prototype.
Yes, but it has to be a deployed prototype.
Okay, thank you.
Sunny.
Okay, sorry again. So my last question is that I heard that Emery said we are going to have a mentor for ourselves. So if this the quarterfinal is virtual, how can we contact our mentor?
So yeah, everyone is going to be assigned a mentor for the 128 projects. So these mentors will have sessions with you to give you advice on your hackathon progress, and also they will brief you about the checkpoints and the deliverables that you need to submit. So they are there to assist you throughout the hackathon.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Alpha.
Yes, if I can help you well, you were talking about a form. Like one of the guys was asking about filling a form, because you said that form need to be filled. So I don't know if you can elaborate more on that. And the second one also, you were telling that like 600 projects have been submitted, and maybe tomorrow, tomorrow will be the deadline, and all those who qualify, they are going to be sent an email. So if you can elaborate more on that,
What form are you referring to?
hello.
Yes, Alpha. So I was asking you, to what form were you referring to?
A form. Like one of the guys was telling you that like if you don't qualify, can you join in another group and you fill that form?
Yeah, yeah, got it. I see. So, we're going, like, we have already shared that form already, but we will share it today as well in the WhatsApp and Telegram group. So, if you want to join A2SV Education, you can fill out that form. So, our team we are going to send that form again.
Okay.
All right.
So like when is the because I had like a Friday also there's going to be another session.
Yes, that's the kickoff of the quarterfinal.
Okay. Okay. Okay, but like for our group, we are not receiving any notification with regards to the sessions because I have already
Because
added.
we have not finalized the selection of 128 teams for the quarterfinals. If we,
Okay.
I think the team is working on that. Once it's done, if you are part of the quarterfinal, you'll get the invitation.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. So Vincent and Enoch, are you guys? Can you hear us now, or you raised your hands by mistake?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, continue, please, Vincent.
Yeah, my question is what will be the basis for validating the ideas we have submitted? And will it be based on our presentation solution? I mean, the presentation, or it will be based on its prototype or both? So, my
Yeah.
last
So,
question,
okay.
yeah, go on.
Continue. Sorry. Okay. So for the idea filtration part, we already had an entire workshop discussing the criteria that we are going to use. So you can go to A2SV's YouTube channel or the resource section of the WhatsApp and the Telegram group. You will find the link for the criteria that we are going to use to select your ideas there.
Okay, thank you. And my second question is to know what if we don't have much time, enough time to finish our prototype?
Oh, yeah, that will definitely affect your chance of qualifying to the next stage. Since if, like, at the end of the day, this is a competition. So if there is a group or a group that has already finished their prototype and you don't, your chance of passing it to the next stage will become really low.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Enoch, can you hear us? Okay, maybe he raised his hand by mistake. Yeah, so if you guys don't have any question, then we can conclude this session now. Yeah, definitely. I hope you guys got some impressive insights from the previous hackathon winners and also from Embrace presentation. And I strongly suggest you to use that in the hackathon's quarterfinal so that you guys can get a bigger chance. Yeah. So thank you everyone for coming here. Thank you everyone for being part of this session. See you. And wish you best of lucks for the quarterfinals. Yeah.